Hey, everybody. Sad news today. We received word from the family of Angela Lansbury that the beloved star passed away in her sleep this morning, early this morning, around 1:30 a.m. Passed away, I should say, peacefully in her sleep. So I released a video about the announcement and just a really brief video celebrating the life of Angela. And I'll play that in a few minutes after everyone arrives. But the purpose of this live stream is simple. It's an opportunity for us to all remember the life of Angela, to celebrate that life. Just a marvelous lady, one that, for as long as I can remember, has been providing really awesome entertainment. And it's tough. It's tough to get this news today. So, for those folks that are just arriving, we're probably a good 3 hours in since the announcement was made that Angela Lansbury has passed away. She's dead at the age of 96. She passed away peacefully in her sleep this morning around 1:30 a.m. her local time. The announcement from the family was that the children of Dame Angela Lansbury are sad to announce that their mother died peacefully in her sleep at home in Los Angeles at 1:30 a.m., just 5 days shy of her 97th birthday. So, again, the purpose of this live stream is to celebrate, to remember. So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and welcome people and just share everybody's thoughts and comments. I'll, of course, add my 2 cents here and there as the live stream continues. Mama Pink says no, and then goes on to say thank you. Well, I don't know how amazing I am to throw together a live stream, but it feels like we needed to do this. I'd put together a very short video on Angela. I did this longer video about Angela Lansbury and her friendship with Madeleine Roux probably about a month ago, and had no idea that she was. I knew she was older and getting up there and in her 90s, but I didn't realize that she was this close to leaving us. So anyway, I took a portion of that video and repurposed it as just an announcement video, but it only runs a minute and a half and it doesn't do her justice. So here we are with the live stream. All right, we've got Neutral 69 here, says rest in peace Angela L. Mama Pink says I'm at work so I can't stay, but I'm so sad right now. I'm so grateful that I caught that video last weekend where she is 20 years old. Yeah. Richard Heacock says the first thing I ever saw her in was Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. One of my fond memories as well, Richard. And Jeff King says, what an icon. Emily Miller, welcome to the live stream. Good to have you here. Corinne Malush says, she helped raise me with Murder, She Wrote. This is absolutely heartbreaking. And Mama Pink adds, long, beautiful, fruitful, and gracious life. Dora Barkley says, I am so sorry to hear this. Loved her from my earliest recollection, the movie Gaslight. Let's see. Danny Staten's here. Welcome, Danny. Good to have you here. Yes, truly sad news today. Hope all is going well down there in South Carolina. Let's see. Mike Ainsley says, why on my birthday? She was 96, but yeah, come on, why today? It's, you know what, they don't pick them. They do not pick them. Shannon Burns, welcome. Kenneth, good to have you here. Adrian James, hi. Let's see. Carolyn Myers says, I will always love her. She had a gift about her. I am in Florida. God bless her. Prayers for her children. And Shannon says, I love her. May she rest in peace. All right, I'm caught up in the comments here for a minute. So what I'll do is I will go ahead and play that brief video that I produced announcing Angela's passing that I published to YouTube just a couple of hours ago. And then I'll return and I'll read more comments. I'll stay here as long as the comments are there, but when the comments die down, we'll call this virtual remembrance to a close. All right, so let me go ahead and find that video. Here we go. The entertainment world received some really sad news today with the announcement from the family of Angela Lansbury that she had passed away peacefully in her sleep at the age of 96. Most people remember Angela best from her long-running television series that she starred in titled Murder, She Wrote, which ran on CBS for 12 seasons. As great as that show was, I must admit that Jessica Fletcher wasn't my favorite Angela Lansbury role. You have to go a little further back, but I prefer her as Eglantine Price in Disney's adaptation of Mary Norton's Bed Knobs and Broomsticks. I saw this movie so many times as a kid, and to this day, I rank it right up there with Mary Poppins. And of course, Angela was also beloved as the voice of Mrs. Potts in the Disney animated classic Beauty and the Beast. Over the years, Angela was known for her kindness to her colleagues. One particular example was her insistence that Murder, She Wrote cast actress Madeleine Roux at least once a year. Madeleine had MS and needed to continue to work to maintain her health insurance with the Screen Actors Guild. Angela was a true class act. Well, what am I saying? She is a class act. She may have passed on, but her legacy lives on through the lives of the many people that she has entertained and helped out over the years. Please share your memories of Angela in the comments section. And most importantly, thank you so much for watching. Okay, more comments. Let's see, we've got Carol Larson who says, so sad. She was fabulous, loved her in Murder, She Wrote, watched her many hours with my mother. And Mr. Led is here, welcome. Says, my daughter heard and said, oh, she was Mrs. Potts from Beauty and the Beast. She sure was. Kitty Mom says, I was just writing that Bed Knobs and Broomsticks was a favorite from my childhood, and I am an avid Murder, She Wrote fan. I still watch it every day. I suspect that show will have a bit of a resurgence as folks once again discovered and celebrate just how awesome Angela was as Jessica Fletcher in that show. Emily Miller says, as soon as I heard the news, I immediately remembered her singing Beauty and the Beast live on stage just a couple of years ago. What a great memory that has to be, Emily. Music Girl 67 says, good afternoon from sunny Southern California, everyone. I already watched your video in regards to Angela, Dave. Such sad news indeed. I love watching her old black and white movies. Those black and white movies are the best, aren't they? Lars Land says, 96 is a long life. I'm halfway there. I'm half there if I'm that lucky. There you go. John Collins, good to have you here with us as well. Anne-Marie Hopkins says, I'm totally sad. I always adored her. Kristen Davis, welcome all the way from Iowa. Good to have you here with us. I first knew of Angela, she says, from Murder, She Wrote. Chalupa Cabra says, rest in peace. She lived a full life. God bless. Dave Claroni, good to have you here as well. I should say Officer Claroni. Thank you for your service, Dave. Truly appreciate you. He says, sorry to hear about her passing. Carol Larson says, so sad. Many hours of watching her in Murder, She Wrote and other videos. My mother loved her too. Rest in peace, Angela. Yeah, my dad loved Murder, She Wrote, and it was a show that he watched without fail for years. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate the kind words. My mom passed away. This is GR. Says, my mom passed away this past August. My grandmother, who passed long ago, and her always tried to watch Murder, She Wrote together. Isn't that one of the wonderful things about television programs, is the ability to bring people together, connect them generationally? I love that. Mama Peak says, have to get back to work, friends. Thank you for sharing your sadness with me. Rest easy, Angela. Yeah, it is a sad day, but it's also a day for us to kind of look back and reflect on the life of Angela Lansbury, what she did, and the gifts that she left behind. So I'd love to hear about favorite movies. She did so much beyond Murder, She Wrote that I'd love to hear some of the other things that you enjoyed watching her in, and of course we can talk about Murder, She Wrote as well. Michael Staunton, welcome from all the way from Ireland. He says, great childhood memories watching Murder, She Wrote. Let me keep going. Hey, Robin, how are you? Former co-worker there. Always fun to see something from Robin. She says, going way back, she was really good. And yes, she was, Robin, in a movie called Gaslight. Mama Pink says, have to get back to work. I think I read that one already. Okay, let's keep moving. And have a good rest of the day at work, Mama Pink. Drew Knight says, 96 years, a great life. Rest easy, Ms. Lansbury, and thank you for years of entertainment. Yes, that's, as sad as we might feel today, let's also feel a sense of gratefulness for what Angela is leaving behind. Ralph Pastucci. I murdered that. I'm sorry, Ralph. Ralph P. says, my heartfelt condolences to her family and friends and us, her friends, her fans. Rest in peace, dear lady, and thank you. Karen Gregor says she was a terrific actress. She will be sorely missed. Rest in peace, Miss Fletcher. So for those folks that are just joining, let me just quickly update everyone that we got news probably 3.5 hours ago now that Angela Lansbury has passed away. She's dead at the age of 96, so a very good long life, and one that is celebrated for the many, many gifts that she left behind as an actress. The formal announcement from her family was this: the children of Dame Angela Lansbury are sad to announce that their mother died peacefully in her sleep at home in Los Angeles at 1:30 a.m. today, Tuesday, October 11th, 2022, just 5 days shy of her birthday. Truly is a wonderful lady. I'm going to get right back to comments here. Let's see what we've got going here. Let me make sure I get them all. Rosemary Magrino says she was so much more than Murder, She Wrote. She went from The Manchurian Candidate, yes, to Mame on Broadway, to Bedknobs and Broomsticks. How's that for range? Absolutely. Kitty Mom says, The Picture of Dorian Gray is also a favorite movie. She stood out in a supporting role. Danny Hooley says, just shy of 97 today, 5 days shy. My parents used to watch her every Sunday night on Murder, She Wrote. And Mark Gerard says, also on Broadway in Maine. She should have done the movie version, not Lucille Ball. I agree. Let's see what else we got here. John Collins, good to have you here, says, given the occasion, Dave, I will give you a pass about. That's right. You took exception to a few weeks back when I did a video, an extended video on Angela and her friendship with Madeline Rue. I had mentioned, I think I mentioned it in this video too, the one I published today, that I enjoy, that I rate, that I rank Bedknobs and Broomsticks right up there with Mary Poppins. And John called me out in a comment on that, and I love that. I won't dispute that Mary Poppins is more critically lauded. That is probably the better movie from a critical standpoint. But as I explained earlier, I have so many fond memories associated with Bedknobs and Broomsticks that for me, it ranks right up there with it. Thanks for the comment, John. Good to have you here. Roland of Gilead 43 says, I had no idea she even died. And Joyce Dufresne said, I was so sad. Gary Carpenter's here. Good to have you with us as we celebrate the life of Angela Lansbury. Chalupa Cabra says, when I was growing up, TV pulled the family together. Yeah, it certainly did. It was a connector in many ways. Let me finish reading this. Pulled the family together at certain times each day. All in the Family and Happy Days were big favorites. This is a tough one for me to read the name. I'm going to give it my best. Nainola Shivya. And I'll just call you Double N because that one's a tough one for me. It could be Nino Lashivia. We'll go with that. This is the second great celebrity that I've discovered had passed away through your stream. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but I do also enjoy getting together with all of you. And really, there's a moment. It's momentary mourning, but more than that, it's a celebration of a life well lived. gifts that are left behind for us to enjoy for decades. Let's see. Janet Woods says, wonderful woman. Roland of Gilead 43 says, I remember reading that when she did her first film, she was 17 years old and she turned 18 during the filming. She's been in the industry for so darn long. Gary says, seen her shows at least a couple of times. And Tracy Roth Myers is here with us. Indeed, it is sad news today. Laura Crane says, first time I saw Angela Lansbury in Disney's Bedknobs and Broomsticks, she became my all-time favorite actress. Thank you, Angela. Rest in peace, dear lady. Lisa Barrett says, hello. Hello to you, Lisa. We're here just remembering the wonderful life that Angela Lansbury lived. She passed away early this morning, about 1:30 a.m. local time in Los Angeles, in her sleep at home. Janet Woods says, I loved Murder, She Wrote. Gary Carpenter says, she's a wonderful woman. Miss Price, Miss Potts, Mrs. Potts, Nancy, and Jessica Fletcher. Let's see. Mr. Led says, Dick Van Dyke, Barbara Eden, Angie Dickinson are three classics left in their 90s. They sure are. Rosemary Magrino says, she was Elizabeth Taylor's sister in National Velvet. You know what? I saw National Velvet as a kid, and I haven't gone back. I did not connect that. I did not realize that. Chalupa Cabra says, my mom is almost 83, and I try to spend every moment that I can with her. You should spend as much time as you can with her. Janet Woods says she had a long, great life, for sure. And Lisa Barrett says, I love her in Murder, She Wrote. Emily Miller says, we must protect Dick Van Dyke at all costs. Absolutely. A national treasure. Sarita Abney says, hey, Dave, I cannot believe that we just lost Angela Lansbury. It's tough news for sure. Music Girl 67 says, so very few legends from the golden era of Hollywood are still with us, and now Angela has left. May she rest in heavenly peace. Well said. Well said. Emma Crawford says, rest in peace, as does Salem's Lot and more. Emma Crawford says, heartbreaking to hear this. Laura Crane says, thank you, Angela, for the decades of wonderful entertainment you provided. You will be sadly missed, but never forgotten. Tracy Roth Myers says, I saw her in Sweeney Todd. She was awesome. And Drew Knight says, my gram took me to see her on Broadway in Sweeney Todd when I was a kid. Brilliant. But I am still mad that she was nominated for 18 Emmys and never a win. So wrong. Adrian James says, sad to hear about Angela Lansbury. She will be missed. And Eric Isaac says, rest in peace, Ms. Lansbury. # legend. Absolutely. Gary Carpenter says, Murder, She Wrote was the best show with all of those old-timey stars. I totally agree. But it is a confession time. I didn't watch Murder, She Wrote on a weekly basis. I watched it from time to time. I was an avid Matlock watcher, but this one, there were other things that I liked her in more. But she was wonderful. It's Jessica Fletcher. Let's see. Yeah, she just missed her 97th, Marianne. 5 days shy, in fact. Janet Wood says, thank you for celebrating her life. Thank you for joining me to celebrate her life today, Janet, and to everyone else that is in the live stream. We've got 80 people here. 80 people. Think about that. You know, we're in all sorts of different locations, not just in the U.S., but I know we have folks here from Ireland. We're all over the place, and we've come together with a bit of sad news. The passing of Angela Lansbury, someone who is, you know, legendary. # legend. Someone just said it. But in doing so, we're not here really for the purpose of mourning. We're not. We're here to celebrate her life. And that is how I believe most of us, when we go, want it, right? We want to be celebrated and remembered fondly. Jeff King says, Bedknobs and Broomsticks was the first I saw of her, have the whole Murder, She Wrote CD set, but love her old movies. She was elegant yet down to earth. Well said, Jeff. Let's see. Sylvia Giddy says, Dame Angela was amazing. I loved her in everything. Rest in peace, beautiful lady. Heaven has gained another sparkling stars. Yeah, so very, very true. Tina McMichael, welcome to the live stream. She says, may she rest in peace. Prayers for her family. I loved Murder, She Wrote. Nino says, thank you. Your sincerity and respect make it actually a better way of learning of losing these greats a small bit easier. Angela was such a lady. The Queen gave her the title. Absolutely. Dame Angela Lansbury. John says, thank you for having these very intentional memorials for the folks. It gives us, John and Jane Q regulars, a chance to mourn together. Thank you. You know what? Thank you. Like I said, this is for me very therapeutic as someone who is just a huge fan of television and motion pictures and the world of entertainment, and in particular, those that brought us entertainment from decades gone by. These are important moments, and I am grateful that I don't necessarily, my family, they're there for me. I went out and told my wife that, Angela had passed away, but it just doesn't resonate that same way because, there are other things that are more important to her, quite frankly. And I don't blame her, but it's great to be able to connect with folks that feel the same way, feel that same sense of loss, but even more so feel this real need to get together and remember the highlights of someone's life. So great comment, John, and thank you for being here. Joyce Dufresne says, I'm still in tears over the death of my favorite and best actress, Angela Lansbury. I've loved her forever. Rest in peace, Angela. Jessica Fletcher. Ginger Ninja Whinger. We're going to go with it like that. Such a sad loss. Dame Angela was a truly remarkable actress whose career spanned many decades. It sure did. Rest in peace, Angela. Emma Crawford says, I love Murder, She Wrote. Rest in peace. Going to be missed. Neil Sterling's here, says, so sad to hear of her passing. Lovely lady. Neil in Scotland. Again, my point. We have folks in Ireland here. We have lots of folks in the U.S. We've got Neil in Scotland. We are all coming together to remember this great lady, to celebrate her life. What a world we live in that we can do that we can come together with a hint of sadness. But this is a life that was well lived. I mean, Angela was 96 years old, and the gifts she left behind are truly phenomenal. Emily, I did see that you shared that on Twitter. Thank you so much. I really appreciate when people do that. Tracy says, when I die, I want my friends to party. That's what I would like. I would like it to be, I want to be missed, but I don't want people to mourn. I want them to celebrate the life that I lived. Let's see what else we got here. Stephen Say, or I think that's how you say that, says, rest in peace, Angela Lansbury, a true legend. Chalupa Cabra says, Angela is one of those rare few celebrities I never heard anyone say a negative word about. That says everything you need to know. So I mentioned it in the video that I published today, as well as I did this video about a month ago on Angela and her friendship with Madeleine Roux, actress Madeleine Roux. And she truly was someone who was a good Samaritan, a good friend, someone who's kind and thoughtful. Madeleine Roux, for example, was diagnosed with MS let's say she knew about it in the late 70s. It became public knowledge in the 80s. And it, after a while, after, a decade or so of her dealing with it privately, became too pronounced for her to ignore anymore. And it really became, it impacted her ability to get work. And she needed work because she needed the health insurance that the Screen Actors Guild provided. Angela made sure for a period of like 4 or 5 years, when Madeleine was struggling the most to find work, Angela made sure that at least annually, Madeleine had a guest spot on Murder, She Wrote, so that she could maintain that insurance. That is the kind of lady that Angela Lansbury is. You don't hear those kind of stories very often, but truly a phenomenal lady. Those that do things without the trumpets blaring and, just kind of quietly do things like that. They're truly special people. Kitty Mom says she had said that the Manchurian Candidate was probably her best work. It was definitely a great role. Let's see what else we got here. Shannon says I loved her in that as well. Forvo Quizlet says goes all the way back to the namesake movie for gaslighting. Yeah. Shannon Burns points out that she was in Blue Hawaii with Elvis. Gary says I don't like the Manchurian Candidate. It is kind of a heavy movie for sure. And Tracy Rothmeyer says I really enjoy old Hollywood. It's my favorite. I enjoy new and old Hollywood, but there is something special, something really, really, I don't know, it's hard to even describe, particularly if you're watching something in black and white. It's just, there's comfort. Space Force Girl Force JJ West fan says, sad face emoji. Kat Nielsen, she and her mother were in the picture of Dorian Gray. Rest in peace. Emily says, my youngest daughter was really upset. We watched The Beauty and the Beast VHS together often when she was little. You know what? I need to figure out what I'm going to watch. I suspect it's going to be Bedknobs and Broomsticks as a way of celebrating Angela's life. Hey, Stephen, that is so cool. So we've got Ireland, we've got Scotland, and now we've got New Zealand here with us as well today. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for remembering Angela Lansbury. Oh, I know, LaShonda, I know that you would love to see something on Kenneth Tobey, maybe one of these days. Thanks for joining us as we remember Angela Lansbury today. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says, now I did enjoy Dorian Gray and Demon Barber. Music Girl 67 says in the 90s, not only was Angela a voice actress in Beauty and the Beast, but she was also in 1997's animated version of Anastasia. I liked that movie. And Music Girl 67 says she likes to watch that around the holidays. That's a Don Bluth movie, an animated film, and it's really quite good. Kitty Mom says, my mom is the only person who would have understood how this makes me feel. She's been gone 6 years now, but was a big fan of Angela's as well. Yeah, and Anastasia was good. Matt Kingston, welcome to the live stream, says, Angela Lansbury, so sad we call her Mrs. Disney in our house, and that's a totally appropriate name. Let's see. Emily Miller says, Music Girl, the thing about Angela is she was known by several generations. She really did. She crossed generations, right, with her different works. Grand Game 1440 says, watching Murder, She Wrote as we speak. Space Force, Girl Force, JJ West fans says, we never got the final case of Jessica Fletcher TV special. We even had a spec script for it. Darn shame. Rest in peace, Lady Legend. So again, for folks that are joining us now, we got news probably about 4 hours ago that Angela Lansbury had passed away in the wee hours of the morning today on October 11th. The official announcement came from her family that she passed away peacefully in her sleep this morning, just 5 days shy of her 97th birthday. I'm going to play the video that I published a few hours back. It's short. It's just a minute and a half. Just one more time, and then we'll get back to more comments from all of you. The entertainment world received some really sad news today with the announcement from the family of Angela Lansbury that she had passed away peacefully in her sleep at the age of 96. Most people remember Angela best from her long-running television series that she starred in titled Murder, She Wrote, which ran on CBS for 12 seasons. As great as that show was, I must admit that Jessica Fletcher wasn't my favorite Angela Lansbury role. You have to go a little further back, but I prefer her as Eglantine Price in Disney's adaptation of Mary Norton's Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I saw this movie so many times as a kid, and to this day, I rank it right up there with Mary Poppins. And of course, Angela was also beloved as the voice of Mrs. Potts in the Disney animated classic Beauty and the Beast. Over the years, Angela was known for her kindness to her colleagues. One particular example was her insistence that Murder, She Wrote cast actress Madeleine Roux at least once a year. Madeleine had MS and needed to continue to work to maintain her health insurance with the Screen Actors Guild. Angela was a true class act. Well, what am I saying? She is a class act. She may have passed on, but her legacy lives on through the lives of the many people that she has entertained and helped out over the years. Please share your memories of Angela in the comments section, and most importantly, thank you so much for watching. And we're back. So Stephen, who's over in New Zealand, points out that he has watched Murder, She Wrote. It's good to know that that program made it all the way over there. Let's see. Music Girl 67 points out that Angela's career spanned 8 decades. Tracy Rothmeyer says she was a classically trained actor. She sure was. Don Tuween says, confession, I also did not watch Murder, She Wrote. I'm a movie guy. We'll remember her from her features, although she was too young to play both Elvis Presley's and Lawrence Harvey's mother. Roland of Gilead 43 says, 1930s Hollywood is my favorite era for movies, but 1939 was, I think, the best year that we've ever had in movies. Crazy8360 says, Godspeed, Angela, loved you in Gaslight. And Jeff King reminds folks to like this live chat. I would appreciate that. I recognize that we don't necessarily like the news that we received today, but if you appreciate this opportunity to come together virtually and really celebrate the life of Angela Lansbury with people all over the world, then I would appreciate a thumbs up or sharing it on social media. You can go ahead and share the link to this live stream even after the fact on social media. I'd appreciate that. Richard Arte Digital says, forever Jessica Fletcher, one of my favorite TV characters, a real talent and classy lady who will be missed. May she rest in peace. Greetings from Costa Rica. So here we go. Another country that we have folks that are celebrating Angela's life with us. Roland's in Ohio. Good to have you here, Roland. And Terry Riley says she was brilliant in Gaslight and Manchurian Candidate. She sure was. Wow. She had her hearts as Auntie Mame on Broadway. Rest in peace, dear Dame Angela. Forever in our hearts from Mexico. We are truly international in this virtual Remembrance live stream today. It's really quite cool that we're able to do this and connect in this way. Joyce Dufresne says, I still watch Murder, She Wrote 6 hours every day. 6 hours every day. Holy cow, that you are a fan. Well, it's good to have you here with us, Joyce. It really is, and appreciate your comments. Stephen says, I have seen Bedknobs and Broomsticks on the Viewmaster. I remember that as well. Kirk Morrison says, may God grant her soul rest. Farvo Quizlet is in Kentucky, and Neil Sterling in Scotland says, currently watching Angela on my Brit TV channel 5 USA. My late mom, who passed away 18 months back, loved her glamour, her hairstyle, and her elegance. Let's see. Nino says, I was introduced to her through Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I recognize her in the portrait of Dorian Gray by her voice. I didn't realize how much of a classic beauty she was until then. Oh, she certainly was a beauty. There's no doubt about that. She really had a sense of elegance is the word that comes to my mind when I think about Angela. You know, we've got we'll do this if we have time. I want to make sure I get all your comments here, but over on Twitter, a lot of folks are paying tribute to Angela as well, and we can share some of that stuff in just a little bit. Foster Gerard says, I was saddened. I love her work, especially the golden era of cowboy movie salon dancer. Okay. Barry King from BK on the Air is here. He says, all of her credits were expansive and wonderful. A performance that still stands out for me is Mame on Broadway. Super talented. Let's see. Daryl's here. Good to have you with us, Daryl. Gary says, tale as old as time. What a wonderful song. What a wonderful movie, right? Yes, thank you for being here and contributing to this lovely tribute as well, Space Force, Girl Force, JJ West fans. Let's see. Grand Game 1440 says, is Bedknobs and Broomsticks on Disney Plus? I would have to think that it is. That's where I'm going to check. And John Collins points out that she also appeared in Mary Poppins Returns. I've only seen that once. I might need to go back and watch that one again. Kirk Morrison is in South Carolina. Thanks for joining us, Kirk. And Gregory Hodge says, prayers and love. Music Girl 67 says, I know they still show Murder, She Wrote on the Cozy TV channel. I'm curious to know if maybe they will do a marathon to celebrate her talent over the years. I suspect that they will do something like that. And Daryl Johnston points out that 96 years old is something. It really is. It's a good long life. And she was such a, to be such a vital contributor during a large portion of those 96 years. It's all anyone could ever want. I suspect that Angela left this world extremely fulfilled. And, if she were able to hear all these comments or be aware of these comments, I'm sure that her heart would be warmed by them today. BK on the air says, I'll second that nod to Gaslight. Incredible movie. Emily Miller says, I have a Bed Knobs and Broomsticks novel. I believe it's from the early 70s. You are correct, Emily. I had the Disney book and record. Chalupa Cabra says, as the old timers would say, Angela had chops. She could do it all. Act, sing, dance, and make it all look easy. Kirk Morrison says, I loved her in Gaslight. And Odd Bodkin says, I remember her in the Elvis movie. Tickle me. Gary points out that she was on a Bob Hope special. Let's see. There we go. Emily's saying, I have the novel of Bed Knobs and Broomsticks, but it's not the original, so not very exciting. Oh, okay. Let's see. Yes, it was Blue Hawaii was the movie that she was in with Elvis. And Janet points out she was a great woman. And oh dear, we've had the bots. Let me go ahead and block the bots. Darn it all. I hate that when it happens. We'll have to keep an eye on things. John Doe's here. Good to have you with us. Yeah, it's definitely tough news. It's sad, right? And we're here with a sense of a tinge of sadness and mourning. But more than that, we're here to celebrate the wonderful life of Angela Lansbury. So feel free to share the movies, the TV shows, the things that you enjoyed her most in, the gifts that she left behind. Tracy asks or wonders if Broadway is going to do anything about her. I have a feeling they will have their own way of recognizing her contributions to the world of stage. Let's see. Yep, there come the bots, and hopefully I've got them at least momentarily. Ruth Ritzema says, I love Dame Angela Lansbury. I watch Murder, She Wrote several times a day. However, there are so many movies that I love her in as well. Heaven is rejoicing today with her long-awaited arrival. It's a very nice thing to say. Let's see. Shannon says, what a great tribute to a lovely, classy lady, for sure. And you guys, thank you for being here and helping with this tribute. I love reading all your comments and connecting with you this way. It's really kind of special. It's cool when technology is used to bring people together instead of tear them apart, right? Elizabeth Aiello said, Aiello? Oh, sorry about that, Elizabeth. Aiello. I'm going to go with that. She was gorgeous opposite Judy Garland with The Harvey Girls. A must-watch if you want to see some sassy Angela. I like that. Let's see. John Doe says, I didn't realize that she was in Portrait of Dorian Gray. Tom McCluskey, good to have you here with us. They should, absolutely. And I suspect there will be numerous memorials in her honor over the forthcoming next few days. Jeff S. says, so sad, one of the last of Hollywood's greats since the 1930s. She knew all of the great actors on both coasts. Let's see. Pivot Shot says, I loved her in The Manchurian Candidate and Murder, She Wrote. I wished I could have seen her on stage, especially in Sweeney Todd. Some fine emoji work by Gary there. Tina McMichael says, today is my sister's birthday that was murdered. Oh my goodness, on Christmas Eve 2020. A special day to go home. And my mom and I watched it all the time. Mom passed in 2013, but I still watch our shows. Murder, She Wrote, Perry Mason and Matlock. Boy, you've just identified the shows that my dad likes to watch as well. First off, I'm so sorry to hear about your sister's untimely passing and the heinous act that that caused that to happen. That's horrible. And you've lost your mother as well. My thoughts are with you, and I appreciate you being here with us as we think about Angela. Robert M. Trollander says, my gosh, another legend has left us. My late mother's favorite TV show was Murder, She Wrote. She watched it every week. She was a beautiful lady in her younger years. Rest in peace, Angela. Yes, absolutely. You said it better than I could, Emily. Condolences and hugs to Tina. Margaret Jones says, Angela Lansbury was one of my all-time favorite actresses. What a wonderful performer she was. And Kamari Christie says, rest in peace, Angela. Sarita Abney says, love me some Murder, She Wrote. And Papa says she was a great actress. M56070K says, I am just heartbroken by the news considering how I was a fan of her work in animation and on TV with Murder, She Wrote. May she rest in peace. Yes, she truly is a legend. Jeff S. says, Hollywood lost the last of the classy actors of that era. Deborah Battle says she was not only Jessica Fletcher, Mame, but also my favorite Mrs. Lovett in Broadway's Sweeney Todd. My first memory was the movie Court Jester. Okay. Danny Kaye, right? Yeah. Robert Forsyth, Angela Lansbury was a jewel of both the silver screen and primetime television. She was kind and never heard a word otherwise. Please note, life in this physical world is not all there is. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says that Broadway will dim the lights. Barbara Eggleston says, my deepest sympathy for the family. Rest in peace. I think the family, they really have handled it well in their announcement. And, you know, it sounds to me like, well, maybe not completely unexpected, what a way to go, to pass away as you sleep peacefully. It's really, what doesn't this lady do well, you know? Let's see. Deborah Battle says they're running Murder, She Wrote on Cozy all day on Sunday. There you go. Ground Game 1440 says, has anyone seen The Mirror Cracked? I saw that years ago. And Gary Carpenter points out that she was in Mr. Popper's Penguins. Drew Knight says she once said that she would die with a script in her hand. Instead, she went in her sleep. Not a bad backup. Totally agree. Let's see. Emily Miller says, if you want to see an impressive list, Google the awards and honors of Angela. I bet. Let's see what else we got here. And Emily says, Drew, who's to say that she wasn't reading a script? Yeah, maybe it was to the side of her bed there. Terry Riley says, Angela is with the Angels now. She lived many years in Ireland. She was a beauty, Mrs. Potts. That voice. Music Girl 67 says, thank you, Dave, for doing these tributes. They seem to be happening more and more often these days. Well, as those that we love and adored as entertainers get older, I think we will see these happen from time to time. We certainly do appreciate that you bring us to a place where we can all share our beloved memories. I appreciate the ability to share with you all as well and to provide the live stream that connects us all together. Tom Lemery is here. He says, hi, Dave. I liked her in Murder, She Wrote. And Friar Tuck points out that she was a beautiful lady in her early years. I would contend that she was beautiful. I'll even go as far as hot throughout her entire life. Let's see. Ken Pope says, just watched Angela in Please Murder Me with Raymond Burr. There you go. Forville Quizlet says, loved her southern accent in Blue Hawaii. I need to go back and watch Blue Hawaii again. Matthew Kingston says, Angela Lansbury was great in Mary Poppins. Returns as Balloon Lady, and I bet she be up there in heaven with David Tomlinson singing The Beautiful Briny Sea. That is awesome. I hope she is. Let's see. Forville Quizlet says, Mr. Gates, how many times do I have to tell you he was in a war? I'm not sure that. Let's see. Oh, wait. This is okay. This is from, yeah. Sarah Lee Gates, Angela's character. Oh, I know you're right, Daddy, but if I don't tell myself there was a war, I have the most depressing feeling Chadwick's just wasted 2 years. ENC's in the house. Yes, indeed, it is super sad news, Ian. Sakina, she was indeed a legend. Well said. China Dell echoes that. And Robert Forsyth says Beauty and the Beast really was a hit with all my kids. Hey, it was a hit with me. Emily Miller says, Robert, it was a hit with me as well. Yeah, I mean, I still love that movie. The animated one more than the live action one. Let's see. John Doe says, my first time seeing her was in Bedknobs and Broomsticks. That was an awesome movie for me and my mom when I was a kid. And Ian C. asked if we saw the Friends episode of Murder, She Wrote. I did not. Tracy Rothmeyer says, now we have to make sure Dame Maggie Smith stays with us, for sure. And Mike Silva's here as well. Welcome, Mike. Good to have you here. Michael Way says she did very well on Broadway in Sweeney Todd, for sure. John Doe says, as a side note, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, it's kind of a sequel to Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I like them both. I didn't really realize they were connected. No, one was written by the James Bond author, Ian Fleming. And the other one was written by Mary. What was Bedknobs and Broomsticks written by? I get it, though. They're spiritually very similar. Drew Knight says she was an incredible person who employed her friends when they couldn't get work. That kindness is lacking today, so in response, she deserved to go any way she wanted. Hey, Lance, good to have you with us. We are celebrating the life of Angela Lansbury. And we're going to stop with the comments for a minute because I'm almost caught up. And we're going to go over and we're going to look and see what folks are saying. See if we can see what folks are saying over here on Twitter. So let me go ahead and share my screen. See what we can do here. Let's go like that. And we better make this screen much bigger if we're going to do this. There we go. Let's see. Well, that's not a lot. Let's go right here. Let's see if we can't type in Angela's name. Well, maybe we won't do this. There we go. Clearly doesn't like that I'm... All right. That was a bad idea. We'll just read comments. I was hoping to be able to share some of the comments over on Twitter. Let me see if I have any better luck now that I've taken it off screen for a minute. Yes, there we go. Let's do this again. Let's try it one more time. Sorry, folks. Apologize for my... There we go. Rex Chapman says, rest in peace, Angela. Brooklyn Dad Defiant. There we go. Here's one. George Takei. Angela Lansbury, who graced the stage for decades, winning 5 Tony Awards, and brought the sleuthing Jessica Fletcher into our living rooms for a dozen years has passed. A tale as old as time, our beloved Mrs. Potts will sing lullabies to us now from the stars. Rest, great soul. Go ahead and see if I can get that a little bit bigger now that we've got the feed up. Here we go. That is from George Takei. Let's see what else we've got here. New York Times announcing her passing. George Hahn talking about the Manchurian Candidate. A number of you have mentioned the Manchurian Candidate. Robert Iger from Disney says, Disney's beloved Mrs. Potts, Angela Lansbury, a consummate professional and talented actress and a lovely person. Rest in peace. Conversation about Gaslight here. There's Angela in the movie Gaslight. A lot of folks have mentioned that film as well. Let me see. There we go. I know a number of you mentioned the Broadway play Mame. And you're right. Angela should have had the film role. I truly believe that. Let's see if there's anyone else here. Let's look at this. I mentioned the whole Angela Lansbury thing earlier, that her friendship with Madeleine Roux and what she did for Madeleine. Here's another one. During the worst years of the AIDS crisis, Angela Lansbury was a staple at AIDS benefits, helping raise millions of dollars to fund AIDS research and patient care. This illness is robbing us of our friends and futures. This disease knows no discrimination. She truly was a kind and caring lady who did so much in front of the screen, but behind the scenes as well. All right. Lots of folks sharing their memories of Angela, including Harvey Firestein. She, my darlings, was everything, he says. Okay, let me go ahead and stop sharing there. Let's get back to comments. That's what we're here. Okay. Let's see. Robert Forsyth says, yes, I loved her, all of her movies. She was always a star in everything, in every Disney and Disney-like movie. Tracy says, gotta save our treasures. Let's see. I agree, Lance. Murder, She Wrote was not a bad show. It was quite a wonderful show, in fact. I didn't watch it every week, but it was quite a wonderful show. Yeah, there's a lot there on Twitter that's just you have to kind of work through. I was hoping to get a few more celebrity, some of her colleagues, their responses, but that's what happens when that stuff isn't prepared ahead of time. Okay. Let's see. Hey, one dude, good to have you here. We're just celebrating the life of Angela here, who passed away in her sleep this morning, 1:30 a.m., peacefully, it should be added. And we've added that we would like to think that a script was by her bedside, and that's how she wanted to go. Lots of folks saying hello to each other. Yeah, George Takei's comments were nice. He does have a way with words. Sakina says, I watched her my whole life. I know she was 96, but I still think like Betty White, it was too soon. Well, I agree. It was definitely too soon, and she will certainly be missed. Gary Emus says, I watched her 65 years of my life, and she will truly be an icon that will be missed. Sparky dropped a little super chat in there. Thank you, Sparky. That's kind of you. She was in The Manchurian Candidate. She sure was. Really, from what I understand, and I believe a few folks pointed it out in the comments, it was one of the things that she was most proud of in terms of her work on film, on the screen. Drew Knight points out that she won 7 Tonys. Nice. Thanks, Tom. Elizabeth's last name is pronounced Illo. I'll try that next time I see it. Okay. Yes, I love Bedknobs and Broomsticks as well. Enjoyed her in Murder, She Wrote, much like Kimberly Dingworth. Thanks for joining us here, Kimberly. Yes, Gaslight is a great film, Mike. And Brenda Bunch says, better late than never. Good evening, everyone. My favorite movie was The Manchurian Candidate. She was chilling. Giovanni Avila Guerrero says, la última actriz que quedaba de la película The Long Hot Summer. And he just says, one of the ultimate actresses, and then points out the film The Long Hot Summer. That's my poor attempt at translating some Spanish there. It looks like kind of a mix of Spanish and Italian, though. Let's see. Maybe not. Maybe just Spanish. NASA Kane's fan says, I have Murder, She Wrote, and I'm watching it on DVD now. That show lasted from the mid-'80s to the late '90s. Yeah, 12 seasons is how long it lasted. That is almost unheard of now. It is. I mean, what can you think of that has premiered in the last 12 years that is still going? I'm struggling. Mary Lay says, a beautiful lady. Lance is asking what happened to Pat and I with the Ron and Clint Howard live stream. That's happening tomorrow night, Lance. Tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Deborah Battle says, in the late 90s, I saw National Velvet for the first time and surprised she was in the movie as Elizabeth Taylor. Yes, yeah, it's a movie I saw as a youngster, and I did not realize she was in that as well. But it's been brought up in the comments as well. So thank you for sharing, Deborah. And that's what I would ask folks to do. We're here with a sense of mourning, but really we're here to celebrate the life of Angela Lansbury, truly one of the great entertainers of our lifetime, right? And we've got this international group. We've got people here from Scotland, Costa Rica, Mexico, Ireland, New Zealand, all of us coming together to share our memories. So please, folks, share your favorite Angela Lansbury memory, and we'll go for a little bit longer. I was planning on only having this run for an hour, but the conversation's such that, yeah, let's keep going and keep rolling until things die down a little bit. Ailo. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Mike Silva says that Bed Knobs and Broomsticks was the best movie ever. And Linda Lee Law points out Mame. She was on Broadway in Mame, but she was not in the film version. That was Lucille Ball. And I really think they kind of missed the boat with that. Not that Lucy wasn't great. Paul says, Angela is someone I wish I could have met in person. So talented, loved her work. And she was just, from what I understand, absolutely gracious. Paul says, rest in peace. Robert Forsyth says, among those special giving stars who respected and loved those who watched and helped those in need, few stars used their place to help so many. Well said, Robert. Mike Stevenson dropped in a super chat as well. That's extremely kind of you on this day to do that, Mike. He says, sad news, a national treasure for many nations. Very few of her era left. Murder, She Wrote was a much-loved highlight. Thank you for the virtual remembrance, Dave. And what I would say to you, Mike, and to everyone else that is here with us, thank you for joining me for this virtual remembrance. These things don't work if people aren't willing to join the live stream and share their feelings, their thoughts, their memories. That's what makes these special. Let's see, 15. Okay, Supernatural. I asked someone, it's not still on, but yes, that is a long run for a TV show. Good point, Emily. I stand corrected. Giovanni says, it's triste ver partir a mis actors and actresses preferidos. Giovanni's saying that it's sad to see so many great actors and actresses that he liked go away, that they liked leave us. Mike's not going to be able to join me for the live stream tomorrow, but hopefully you can catch it on the replay. Let's see. Tracy says it's been a hard year for celebrities. We have lost quite a few this year, for sure. Sakina says, I think it's wonderful that you bring your YouTube community together and honor our beloved actors and actresses. Thank you. Well, thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming together. Let's see. Paul says he enjoyed Gaslight. Megajan Sue says, I watch her every night on Murder, She Wrote. Drew Knight says, she creeped the heck out of me, a Manchurian Candidate. Yeah, she did. Let's see. I want to say 17, turning 18 while the movie was being made. And thank you for the super chat again, Sparky. That's kind of you. I'll read your comment even if you don't drop the super chat in there. I'll do my very best to do that. But thank you so much. It's appreciated. I do appreciate that kind of support. Music Girl 67 says, loved her also in 1978's Death in the Nile, as well as Death on the Nile, as well as the animated films Fantasia 2000 and The Grinch. Paul points out Gaslight. Gary says Gaslight was good. David C. says, I watch her and Murder, She Wrote almost every day, but didn't like her witch movies. Okay, I get that. Totally get that. Oh, okay, so Giovanni, they're from Ecuador. And hello to you, Giovanni. Hola, ¿cómo está usted? Or ¿cómo estás? Me gusta que estás aquí con todos nosotros, celebrando la vida de Angela. There you go. That's the best I can do on my Spanish. But gracias por estar aquí, Giovanni. Let's see what else we got going here. I thought there was a Magnum PI crossover, Lance. I didn't see it, but I thought there was a crossover between those two shows. Yes, she played Elvis's mom in Blue Hawaii. That's right. We are praising the legend today. That is what we're here for. We're celebrating her life. And the great thing about Angela is that her life is such that it's easy to talk about the good things. It's so easy to talk about all the great things that she did. David says Bedknobs and Broomsticks. Oh, okay. So that's the witchcraft movie. Yeah. There are those folks that don't enjoy those movies, and I totally understand that. Our Sprocket says we will have her exploits and performances for decades to come, and her memory as an actress and a great actress will live on in our hearts and streaming videos, for sure. Let's see. David Thomas says, it's sad to see our celebrities die, but we don't need the hoaxes. Well, this is not a hoax. We've lost Angela today. Terry says, this is a lovely tribute, Dave. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Terry. Thank you for joining us and remembering Angela. These things don't work unless you guys are willing to hang out and leave comments and allow me to read them. Linkbond 442 says, very sad to hear this news. Angela was a lovely lady. Indeed, she was. NASA Canes fan says Bedknobs and Broomsticks was iconic. Yeah, I love it. I love that show as a kid. I so many fond memories. Old Farm Show says, thank you for the broadcast. Tina McMichael says, I love the older movies. Old Hollywood, but Murder, She Wrote is my favorite. The Ghost of Mr. Chicken, that's a great one. Andy Griffith Show, Angela Lansbury is a classy lady and lots of fond memories. Yeah, for sure. And Bedknobs and Broomsticks again. Yeah, it's clearly a favorite of many. And R. Sprocket says she did a Magnum crossover and she did a Simon and Simon crossover. How cool is that? De nada, Giovanni. De nada, mi amigo. Let's see. Mike Stevenson again confirms that she did a crossover with Magnum PI. Thank you, Gary. Let's see. And Husker says, what a lovely and talented lady. Indeed, she was. So for those folks that are just arriving, the details are this. About 4.5, 5 hours ago, we got news. It hit all the major news outlets at roughly the same time that Angela Lansbury had died at the age of 96, and that there was an announcement from her family. They provided a few more details. This is natural causes. She died peacefully in her sleep at home in Los Angeles at 1:30 a.m. today, October 11th, 2022, just 5 days short of her 97th birthday. So we're here, and we will be for the next little bit, celebrating the life of Angela Lansbury. Yes, we can be sad, but we're not really here to mourn. We are here to talk about all the great things that she did. So let's see. Husker says, I remember the picture of Dorian Gray. Yeah, another great Angela movie with Angela in it. And Music Girl 67 says, just got the news that another actor, Michael Callan, who was in West Side Story and Cat Ballou, has just passed away at 86. So 10 years younger. Shows you how long Angela lived. Linkbond 442 says she was just a couple months younger than Art LeBeau, who passed away just a few days ago. Thank you, Sakina. And Ruth confirms the Magnum crossover as well. I was unaware of the Simon and Simon crossover. Something you said says another fixture from my childhood removed. How many are left? Unfair. I took her presence in this world for granted. I did too. I did a video about a month ago on Angela and her friendship with Madeline Rue. And I did not for one moment, I knew she was in her 90s, but I did not for one moment think that we would be today celebrating her life and mourning the loss of her now that she's no longer with us. Robert Forsyth says, kindness can be heard in every language. No matter what you speak, love come through is universal. Thanks, Robert. See you tomorrow, Lance. Good to have you here. Let's see. I'm not sure what roles she turned down. She was such a prolific actress. I'm sure she turned down more roles than she took, but I'm not aware of which ones those would be. Let's see. Working through, I'm trying to. Yeah, so folks, Tom Selleck is not dead. And there are a number of people on YouTube. I speak from experience. I'm not going to belabor this point because that's not what we're here to do today. But there are a number of people out there that their whole point of their channel is to just make videos that basically are lies. They want to get the click. They want you to click on the video. So I saw one yesterday that said Ron Howard was dead. Ron Howard's not dead. Tom Selleck is not dead. The best thing you can do is I wouldn't click on those unless you know who it's from. If it's a CNN, CBS, Fox News, whatever your trusted news source is, then I would go ahead and click on it. Says Dave Sundstrom. And I would go ahead and click on it. Otherwise, if it's something like the channel yesterday was Deceased Hollywood or Deceased Celebrities, all they want is the click. They don't really care to provide you with any information. And the title, which says Ron Howard, for example, yesterday said Ron Howard was dead. It has nothing to do with the video inside. All right, enough on the hoaxes. Thank you, Ruth, for joining us. It was so great to have you here. She certainly was a classy lady. Sensitivity Training says, hello, Dave and everyone. I hope someone has brought up, yes, they have, Angela's performance as Elvis's mother in Blue Hawaii. She was only around 10 years older than him then. Let's see. Good night, Tracy. Thanks for joining us. Let's see. I cannot pull up a clip of her singing Beauty and the Beast live in 2020. Copyright issues will cause problems with that in this live stream, and I can have this live stream. I want to leave it up so people can watch it after the fact, and YouTube will have issues with it if I do that. But folks, go check it out. I'm sure it's on YouTube. Do a Google search, Beauty and the Beast Live 2020, after this live stream, and check it out. And that's another way. I'm going to find something to watch of Angela's tonight. That's how we celebrate the gifts that she left behind. See, I remember reading that as well, Sensitivity Training. Yep, long time ago that he passed away. I use Twitter as well, Emily, but here's the interesting thing. I have such a great community, and you're one of those community members that oftentimes I'll find out about this stuff in my comments section, in the comments of another video. Someone will tell me, hey, so-and-so just passed away. Let's see. Gary Carpenter says CBS is his trusted source. Angelique says she was beautiful inside and out. Robert Forsyth says, thank you, Dave. Spreading the word that there are some YouTube people who are only interested in their pocketbooks. You know what? There's nothing wrong with actually having a hobby that earns you a little jingle jangle for taking your wife out or your significant other out to dinner, right? Every now and again. But to be deceitful in hopes of getting that kind of any sort of monetary compensation, that's wrong. And quite frankly, I have a real issue with it. I wish YouTube would crack down on it. Let's see. Yeah, darn licensing gets in the way. Don't be sorry, though. She's just such a talented lady. I suspect that I could watch YouTube all night with just clips of Angela Lansbury. Let's see. Sensitivity Training says Angela was really good in a Western called Alala Street with Randolph Scott. She sang and wore a mini dress in it and looked amazing. She's a beautiful lady for sure. Cha5 says she was perfect in The Manchurian Candidate, but completely unlike her monstrous mother character. Let's see. Yes, I must rewatch Bedknobs and Broomsticks as well. Hey, folks, I think this is probably as good a time as any to call an end to this live stream. We could go on all night, but I have promised to make dinner for my wife tonight, and so time for me to go get the salmon out and throw it in the air fryer. But thank you all for joining me. Thank you for joining me this evening as we mourn, but more than that, we celebrate Angela's life and the gifts that she left behind. They truly were, decades and decades of gifts that she has bestowed upon us for us to enjoy. And so I would hope that all of us that we find a way, our own way, to connect with her and those gifts. And for me, it would be Bedknobs and Broomsticks, possibly Gaslight. I'd like to go back and watch that again. But thanks so much for joining me this evening. I'm going to close by sharing my video one more time that I published a few hours back. And I just hope everybody has a great night. Again, thank you to each one of you for joining me here today. These virtual remembrances work and are effective only because of each one of you. So thanks again, folks, and really have a great night. You are all very much appreciated. The entertainment world received some really sad news today with the announcement from the family of Angela Lansbury that she had passed away peacefully in her sleep at the age of 96. Most people remember Angela best from her long-running television series that she starred in titled Murder, She Wrote, which ran on CBS for 12 seasons. As great as that show was, I must admit that Jessica Fletcher wasn't my favorite Angela Lansbury role. You have to go a little further back, but I prefer her as Eglantine Price in Disney's adaptation of Mary Norton's Bedknobs and Broomsticks. I saw this movie so many times as a kid, and to this day, I rank it right up there with Mary Poppins. And of course, Angela was also beloved as the voice of Mrs. Potts in the Disney animated classic Beauty and the Beast. Over the years, Angela was known for her kindness to her colleagues. One particular example was her insistence that Murder, She Wrote cast actress Madeleine Roux at least once a year. Madeleine had MS and needed to continue to work to maintain her health insurance with the Screen Actors Guild. Angela was a true class act. Well, what am I saying? She is a class act. She may have passed on, but her legacy lives on through the lives of the many people that she has entertained and helped out over the years. Please share your memories of Angela in the comments section, and most importantly, thank you so much for watching.